How's it going, everybody? This is Ray with budgetshooting.com. Today I'm excited to finally get this thing out. This is my old 300 Win Mag, Savage 111 long action. I had this thing built with the factory barrel and out here shooting 1,000 yards. It's been out to a mile. I had awesome luck with that factory barrel, but it's always left me wanting a little bit more. A little bit more length, a little bit more barrel length, a little bit further out. It's always worked great with hand loads. I've got it in a Choate stock that's been modified, weight added to the back. Choate stocks have the bedding material that goes from the front to the back and gives you that aluminum bedding block inside the stock to be able to mount everything to, which gives you a real accurate platform. It's got a CDI precision bottom metal, works great, AICS magazine, EGW rail. It's got a SWFA scope on it currently. But yeah, man, I love this thing. It had my Burris that's currently on my 6.5 when I did a lot of long range stuff. When this thing kind of got retired to the safe because the 6.5 was doing everything within 1,000 yards that this thing could do, it was kind of sitting. I finally got a great deal on Sniper's Hide on this new barrel. It's from Crown Ridge Barrel Works. The guy I got it from said it only had 150, 200 rounds through it. 29-inch barrel, MTU profile, 300 Win Mag chambered. I've got a nice beefy recoil lug and everything on it with my YHM QD system. But I'm really excited to get this thing tried out today. I installed the barrel myself with gauges and everything. It's fairly straightforward, especially after doing my 300 blackout build. Not too hard to swap barrels. This thing did give me a little bit more of a fit than it did, so it's got me a little bit nervous to try it today, but it checks all of the headspace gauge tests and everything passes. Doesn't have any issues loading live rounds or anything like that, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try today. The only ammo I've got for this thing is hand loads for the old gun that are a little hot, so that's the other thing that's got me worried, but they're not over max, so I'm gonna throw a couple of those in, pull the trigger while standing further away from it just in case anything happens. Assuming everything goes good with that, I'll get behind it, put a couple shots on target, see where it's at. This thing's zeroed for the old 24-inch barrel, so quite a big difference between 29 and 24 velocity wise. So we'll see how it does. I'm sure it was loosely zeroed for the other round, so we'll see where it's putting them. But yeah, for now I'm just going to do a functional test and then I'll get behind it and do a more complete review of how the barrel's doing. Probably not today. I'm going to have to get some more rounds loaded up and tailored to this gun before I do any actual accuracy testing or try and push it out, but we'll see what it does today with old hand loads, breaking the barrel a little bit. I know it's used and has rounds through it, but I cleaned it up before I put it on, so we might as well give it another little bit of break-in. But without further ado, let's get that done. All right, got 2 rounds ready to go. Nice thing about the tripod is I can get this thing set up in a nice safe direction and kind of stand back a little bit and give it the beans. Wish me luck. Hopefully this thing doesn't blow up. That'll make for an interesting video. But the loads are 225 grain ELDMs under over 70 grains of IMR 7828. It's not too hot today, so temperature sensitivity wise these things shouldn't be ridiculous, but they have been floating around in the safe for a while and they're tailored to the old barrel. I did set them back a little bit since the throat on this one's a little bit less worn, so it sits back a little bit, but we'll see how it does. This thing does have me nervous, so we'll see. Almost forgot the ears. You don't want to do that, especially with an unsuppressed 300 Win Mag. Unless you're out hunting or something like that, I know people get away with it, but really don't want to ruin my ears today. Big break on it, 300 Win Mag, that doesn't sound fun. So let's see how this thing does. Everything looks to be all right. No pressure signs on the brass or primer or anything like that, so should be good to go. Let's see if I can see where this thing's at on paper. All right, I'll shoot a couple of paper and we'll see where it's at. just like I kind of had a feeling of. It doesn't look like it's on paper. I have to get this thing re-zeroed one of these days. Give it a couple more. I think it's shooting a little high. Makes sense with the added velocity. So we'll aim the bottom of the target. See where that puts us. Yep. Just over the top, putting it at the bottom, so. See where this goes. And that's on paper. 5 or 6 mils high. Interesting, considering my 1,000-yard dial was like 6.9 mils with this thing before. Quite a bit of velocity change, but not bad. Just make sure everything's still tight. Looks good to go. Still no pressure issues on the brass. Now that I know the gun works, I'm going to throw my 300 Win Mag suppressor on it that I just built. We'll see how it does handling all that pressure of the 300 Win Mag. Alright, here we have the can. Little over 9 inches long in this configuration with the mount. Just under 9 inches long if you pull the mount off. 1.75 diameter. It's got 8 baffles in it. Built-in diffusion wall in the custom mount adapter that I have. I'll put a link below to my blog, which has the full schematic and breakdown of this thing and my thought process behind the why and the how between when I was in the design phase and building it. But yeah, I checked it with an alignment rod, everything's centered, so I'm gonna throw it on now that I know that the gun works, and we'll see how it performs with this thing and some fairly hot hand loads. All right, let's see how it does. That thing doesn't grenade now that we know the gun works. Wow. Man, never shot a suppressed Magnum before. That is incredible. For a hot load out of a 300 Win Mag, man. No pressure signs adding the can. I'm sure we're getting a little bit more velocity with it on there, just because suppressors do add a little bit of velocity. We'll see how a couple more sounds. I'll pull these off and see how it sounds. I wouldn't recommend that for Magnums, but I'm just curious how much noise the can is actually taking off. Can looks good to go, by the way, no issues. Alright, I did a quick zero adjustment. Everything looks good on the can. I'm gonna take a few more shots. Like I expected, the rounds still aren't mag length, even though I had to seat them back from the old setup, which also weren't mag length. They still don't fit. So I'm just gonna single feed them, but I'm gonna try 3 shots and we'll see if I can get it on target that can, and the lack of zero and everything is kind of throwing it off, but we'll see how it does. Try one more. Seems like the barrel heating up, chamber heating up. It's making them a little bit heavier on bolt lift. Yeah, those are getting a little hot. We'll let it rest for a little bit. Alright, well, there it is. This long boy. Can't even barely fit it in the frame, but it's all done. Can works great. The gun functions, which is what I was mainly worried about. I'm just glad everything worked well and didn't blow up. Something to aspire for every time you do a DIY project, I guess. But it worked great. I'm gonna have to come back out when I can start working up a load that's specifically tailored to it. Those other loads, like I said, were hot on the old gun. This thing has a longer barrel. Obviously that can change things, especially when you throw a can on it. Those last three that I shot were starting to show some pressure signs, so I didn't really want to keep pushing it. Chamber's probably heating up and spiking that pressure anyway, but this thing's fun. Looking forward to stretch its legs out and have it on the channel some more after this, especially now that the can is done. Sounds great. I'm really happy with that. All the volume seems to work well. It's tight, didn't get any strikes, everything it's just as it should be. If you have any questions or comments for me, leave them in the comment section below, and thank you for watching. Have a great day.